to this new video. Welcome to this live stream. We are going to be discussing Chelsea's striker situation, and in particular whether we should keep or go ahead and sell Nicolas Jackson. My name is Wills, and welcome to It's Football After All. We always discuss the important matters at our lovely London-based club, Chelsea. So the preseason has given us lots of hopes and lots of expectations for the upcoming season. Given that we don't have European football, you always know what happens when Chelsea does not play European football. A whole week of rest. You remember when we had Antonio Conte, you have Courtois, you have Victor Moses on the right, you have Marcos Alonso on the left, the Cahills, the David Luizes, and then you have Kante, you have Diego Costa up front, you have Hazard, you have Willian, you have Cesc Fabregas. That was a complete team, to be honest. So we dominated Europe. We could rest the whole week and we could just smash whoever could come past our way. I remember we went something like 7 games without conceding a goal. Conte was very organized defensively. Recently, that's not available. But we wait and see how Xabi Alonso will manage the defensive issues. So far, we have not been good defensively. I think it's only AC Milan that didn't manage to score against us in the pre-seasons we have so far played, but there have been a lot of positives. And where I want us to start from is the very upfront part of the squad, the striker positions. We have João Pedro, who scored 15 goals in the Premier League last season, and he was our player of the season. João Pedro, he looked really decent. He's a complete player. He can dribble, he can drop deep in the midfield, receive the ball, he can really also hit out with the defenders. He isn't a player you know that is going to be dispossessed. He can hold on the ball, and by any means he should be our number one striker. That's João Pedro. And now we add Danny Welbeck arriving from our feeder club, Brighton, and that brought in questions. But I think with your discussions, let me know in the comment sections. Actually, do you think Danny Welbeck should be picked ahead of Nicolas Jackson, or do you think Nicolas Jackson should stay at all? By any means, I don't think there is any measure you can use to prove that Dan Welbeck is better than Jackson. I think that's not right. And Delap, despite not scoring, he hasn't really been good for Chelsea because the system is quite different. The level the clubs compete at, if you compare with what Ipswich used to play like, and then what you're going to experience as a striker for Chelsea, those are two completely different scenarios. With the Ipswich, teams could attack Ipswich anyhow, and they could leave literally no one covering at the back. So Delap could really capitalize on that. The wingers running fast on the sides, and then putting the cross into the center, and he could kill off the those balls easily. That's not the case with the Chelsea. With the Chelsea, most of the teams defend deep in the their half, so you have to have that ability to go past a defender who is in the position he's supposed to be in, not just someone who is just recovering, like what the case used to be when Delap was still playing for Ipswich. So he found it hard to adjust to that switch where you have to take on a defender who is in his natural position, contrary to the Ipswich scenario where the defenders are just like retrieving. They are just going back to the position. They can attack anyhow, and then They just recover when maybe they have lost possession. So we now have quite a number of strikers, all of which can't play, given that we have less matches compared to the ones we had last season. So you have João Pedro, who I think we all know will be the number one selected striker. You have Danny Welbeck, who you're sure is not going to leave, given that he has just arrived and is not a younger academy player who will play maybe for the under 21s. You have Nicolas Jackson, who wasn't that bad overall, but is finishing lacks, to be honest. So you have Nicolas Jackson. Jackson scored 14 goals in the first season, league alone, and then 10 in the second season. Last season he scored 8 for Bayern, but we all know it was just a second striker. Bayern just brought him in case maybe Aleken is tired or is injured. They brought in Jackson to provide cover, but he was never going to be a starter there. He started a few games though, and again, his issue, the inability to finish, kicked in. But again, he scored some goals, 3 in the Champions League, 8 in the league, and he's back. And to be honest, he has looked decent in the 2 preseason games he has played. His ability to hold on the ball, drop deep, and then allow other players, especially the striker or the number 10, to get in those positions where you can pass for them and they can shoot, or the balls that bounce off you. It creates space, because much as Jackson is not a clinical finisher, the balls he receives, the defender can't just stand and say, that one will receive the ball and he can't finish. No, Jackson is fast and he can even take on the defender and go past him, like in 1 versus 1. His ability comes when his issue comes when it comes to finishing. So that's where the question comes in. There are teams that have apparently shown interest in Jackson, to be particular, that's Aston Villa and Spurs. So should you let Jackson go? You remember what happened last season. We allowed him to go to Bayern, and before the transfer was completed, Delap got injured. And Chelsea was like, no, you're still our player. We haven't signed the papers. You can stay. And Jackson was like, nah. I have to go. And that's why actually some of the fan base feels like, no, Jackson should have stayed. And Chelsea had to recall Marc Guiu. So Marc Guiu is another player who is in this mix of our strikers: Emegha, Marc Guiu, Delap, Jackson, and Welbeck and João Pedro. And in those 6, João Pedro, Welbeck, Jackson, Emegha, Delap, and Marc Guiu. 6 strikers fighting for literally one position. I think João Pedro and Jackson have the advantages that they can play as 10s. So they can play on the pitch together. One of them deciding amongst themselves who should drop deep and then who should stay up front. And Nicolas Jackson really looked good when he dropped into the midfield without that pressure of us seeing him failing to finish. And sometimes I think we have to be really lenient on these kind of guys, because Jackson was essentially not a striker at Villarreal. So we brought him. Christopher Nkunku got injured at that time, and we tasked him with the ability to be the leading man. He could get in the position. He could link up really well with Palmer, receive the ball, but goalkeepers just had a good time saving his shots. So he didn't prove that he is a striker. who can score enough, but at least he proved that he is a good attacker who can link up really well with his teammates. Last season away, Cole Palmer's performance dropped a lot. Yeah, Cole Palmer's performance dropped a lot. Cole Palmer's output dropped a lot because we know the 2 seasons when Jackson was here, was at the bridge, Cole Palmer really benefited. He enjoyed. When you go to watch Cole Palmer's goals in the 2023-2024 season and then the 2024-2025 season, you're literally watching Nicolas Jackson assisting. I think something like 30 to 40% of Cole Palmer's goals were created by Nicolas Jackson. So much as it couldn't, if it was also the other way around that Jackson could finish the chances Cole Palmer created for him, it could even have been like more lovely. So that's where I come in and ask him, do you think Chelsea could keep Cole Palmer? Chelsea should Chelsea keep Jackson? Should Chelsea keep Nicolas Jackson? No. Sorry. Should Chelsea no. Okay. So do you think Chelsea should keep Nicolas Jackson or they should sell? Okay. That's where we are. And then So should Chelsea keep Jackson? Let me know in the comment section. Then the other issue I wanted us to tamper is to predict Chelsea's season. Recall last season we finished 10th, and this season no European football. The squad is broad, and we have attracted. Hello, Philly. How have you been? So this season we have attracted quite a number of players. Mike Penders is returning from loan. We have added Palestra and Lacroix to the defense. Midfield wise, we went for experience. Jordan Anderson. We allowed Andre Santos to go to United. Very painful. Midfield is also, we have not resolved Enzo Fernandez issue, but Madrid came out and said they will not be going for him. But after Rodri choosing Barcelona, you never know what can still happen with Enzo Fernandez. And then hi brother Laffy, is that how it's read? Hope you're good. And then up front we have on the right Garnacho left, and we brought in Morgan Rogers. Morgan Rogers came in, and now Nicolas Jackson also returned. And in the striker role, again we can consider Jackson. João Pedro is there, and we have added Danny Welbeck. So meaning that Delap, Marc Guiu, and Emmanuel Emegha, who just came, could have to leave. That's quite complicated. A player who has just arrived, and again the club being open to selling him. So what would be your starting lineup? For me, I think for now, Robert Sanchez retains the #1 spot. Except for the other season where Sanchez really looked so awful. Last season he tried out, but I think our issue of conceding doesn't stop on the goalkeeper. It's the whole structure of the team. You look at clubs that are doing really well defensively. It's not just the goalkeeper who does the work. It's the whole team. Look at Arsenal. Most of the games they finish them without conceding a single shot on target. The opponent team has not managed a single shot on target. Meaning in those instances, the goalkeeper has little to do, and even in the few chances they arrive at the box, the defenders are there to clear. So defending starts right with the strikers. What do they do when we lose possession? Do they just come back to our own box? That gives the opponent the chance to pin us onto our box, and eventually we will make errors. There will be so many shots on targets conceded, and eventually we will concede. So I think Robert Sanchez retains the #1 role. Now, depending on whether we are going to use 3 defenders or 4, that changes the dynamics. But we recall we have Levi Colwill, you have Wesley Fofana, and Rakwa. I think if we are going to use 3, those will be mainly the players that will start. But Juraro Ato is also there. Now on the left we have Pep Chavaria arriving. soon or later. And then you have the Italian wingback, that's Palestra. And then you still have Gusto. He hasn't been sold, though news puts it that he might have to leave. And then Reece James, who hasn't also returned. In the midfield, you have Moises Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, whose future is yet to be resolved. Dario Esugo. Those are the, should I say, and Romeo Lavia. Yeah, Lavia is there. And then number 10 role, you have Morgan Rogers, Cole Palmer, Enzo Fernandez is there too. You could play as a 8 or as whatever you choose him to, but he should play a bit deep, I think, behind either Palmer or Rogers or both, depending on how many number 10s we shall have to use. And then wingers, we have Estevão Willian and Quenda, Cole Palmer, and those, and Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto is linked with a move away with Manchester City, already exploring a possibility. So City could still sign a few Chelsea players, given that Enzo Maresca is now there. The two names that have been listed could be Malo Gusto and then Malo Gusto and then Pedro Neto. Those two could end up at the Etihad before the end of the summer. So guys, thank you for watching, and let me see you in the next video. See you. And bigger.